itself. And once you do that, you become better all around, because what you can do is you can articulate why you did something. Okay? Well, he was obviously a threat because, you know, it's an ipsilateral stance, it's like one side of the stance, he's loaded on one side versus contralateral, which is, you know, not threat. He was not paying attention to that little voice in the back of my head that was yelling at me. And the next thing you know, you're trying to figure out how to get the knife out, right? It gets alive. Eye contact. It's looking away, but it's looking away, activating her peripheral vision. If I'm here, am I still looking at him? Yeah, absolutely. Right? I'm using that targeting system. Right? Because when you use that peripheral vision, you move faster. Anybody ever had that flinch, something comes out of the corner of your eye? You're off that side? Your brain's perceiving it without the filter of that conscious intervention. Okay? So if you can train your body, when John does the recognition with the plates, one of the best things that I liked about that was it helps retrain your thinking to that flash. Boom, boom, pick it up. You see the whole picture, and it's like a photograph, a little photograph. Anybody ever look at the sun for a second and you look away and you got that little burned image in the back of the retina? It's the same kind of process. You can train your eyes to pick that up. This is really key because as soon as you get this, you've got an action sense. You've got front leg bending, starting to locomote, the hips are shifting, okay? Hands are, see the rounding on the shoulders, okay? Shoulders are rounding, head's and you get that disconnect part. This is a real indicator. And again, I will always tell you it's a grain of salt, okay? In the right setting, this is an asocial indicator of upcoming action, right? If you see her 2 minutes before that fighting with her boyfriend and he broke up with her because he's got another blonde under the arm, then maybe it's a despondent one. Okay? So totality of circumstance is really going to dictate what you're seeing. And again, that's just building that file database and being able to relate all that stuff and pull it in. This is obviously what? More aggressive. Okay? You've got the rounding, you see the hands coming forward. Okay? You see definite transition of weight onto that front foot. This is a more aggressive stance. And if you'll notice from the last one, how far off the eyes are, you're starting peripheral targeting. When the head comes in here and I'm targeting him, you're bringing that line of vision in. So you're kind of focusing, you're drawing that into that. You've still got your peripheral here, but you're targeting. It's a more direct aspect of asocial targeting. The one thing that I noticed from all of the stuff that I wrote down, and I mean, you know, people used to think I was just an idiot for writing everything that I did down, but the fact of the matter is, by doing that, I was able to walk through a crowd and understand, you know, when my hands better be up and when I better keep my hands down. If I'm walking through a crowd, how many people have gone through a bar when you're on patrol and you've got to call an issue, you've got to go in and see what's going on, you've got to walk through a crowd of people. Some of the clubs we dealt with, you know, we had 15,000 people on the floor at a given time. Okay, large capacity and great influence. You try to get to a crowd of 15,000 people so that you can intervene before that hotspot flares up, which is what you've got to do in that setting. Because if two guys start fighting, by the time your security staff gets there, if you haven't been paying attention, you got 100 guys fighting. And it's a brawl. Okay? So, in order to do that, is that if you're transitioning through people, are you reading everybody? Is this guy potentially a threat? Does he see that he's a bad guy and he's drinking, so he's an idiot automatically? You know, as I pass by him, do I open my body this way so that my hands are up and protecting him? Are his hands up or is his hands down? Where I want to keep my hands down here so I can intercede? All this stuff is body language. What is he telling me that I need to react and transition with at each point of my step and journey through whatever I'm doing? Okay? So, we've got that more asocial mark, okay? Those things coming into play. And it's a really big difference, guys, once you start seeing it. Those little tiny subtle differences are huge, okay? When you see that guy, you know, you're in an Irish pub, and you see somebody doing this, you need to step just a little bit off center, because this is leading to this. And you're going to catch that headbutt flush if you don't move just off to that side. You want to move just off to the opposite side of that. That's a subtle difference, and it's contextual. But you know that this environment, that's the #1 weapon, a good solid headbutt. And Glasgow or the Belfast kiss, right? Step back. and you drift that through. Headbutt, not the best thing to learn on the receiving end. Okay? It's one of those things that you never really enjoy. We come to eyes because they're really, really key. So we got a non-aggressive stance. Okay? At this point in time, there's still engagement. Social interaction, direct eye contact, we talked about, maintain communication, open posture, head's neutral. Okay? When you get this stance, I may be listening to you, but I really don't give a rat's rear what you're saying. I'm letting you vent, and I'm trying to make my decision up. You know, is the guy ticking me off enough that I want to sit into him, or am I going to disengage entirely? And really, if you think about it, you see the guy's posturing. Any guy who does that, you know, the bodybuilder, I call it the armpit infection stance. Those guys, right? As soon as you see this, this is social posture. This is purely ego-driven. I want you to acknowledge me as this huge force, okay? And it really is, and you've got to see that. Because this guy, right, is not going to do anything to you, right, other than yell and broadcast. He wants everybody to recognize this as a dominant stance. Okay? The guy you worry about is the guy that does this. Because this guy is now in that action stance. He's got a rounded stance. I mean, my hands, maybe if I got a weapon, or my hand disappears behind me, scratch my back. This is a threat posture. Okay? Where I'm here. Anything that puts me in that locomotive stance where I drop my chin and I'm leaning forward, my shoulders are down, it's action stance. Ever see a boxer fight like this? Nobody fights like this. Except for the guys who are trying to posture and back you down. Anybody who gets in, you see that roll on, I mean, talking pro, you see them say, condense and then drop in, right? You guys have all done this. If you've done it consciously or unconsciously, it's that roll forward thing about when you engage. Right? Because this is how you condense force through. And that's really one of those key things. Now, you've got a slight articulation. You can look at the shoulder position. Okay? You can see just the full shot is showed hand position, so we're going into that. But you need to be able to pick up what the hip alignment is, and the foot alignment. All of these things are that snapshot. Boom, I walk up, I hear. Okay, so I've seen this guy, and all of a sudden he goes into here, and this drops. I got issues coming. Right? Whether I can diffuse them or not, I don't know, but boy, you know what, I better be conscious of where my line is. Am I in his line, his vector of motion, or can I move slightly off center and phase to readjust? If he readjusts, if I'm here, and I start to target, and he shifts there, and I do this, I'm live, and he better know that, because that's subtle readjustment. Just by turning my, I don't know if you can see my foot, but if my foot's here, I'm targeting him, he moves over, and I just rotate to here, okay? Well, you know what? I just said I'm engaging, I'm tracking. This is an active track. Okay?